So joining us now is the head coach of the Wayne State swimming and dive teams, Coach Sean Peters. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Good, Ryan. How's everything going with you? I mean, other than, we're all freezing our tuckuses off here.
Yeah, I had the unfortunate timing of looking at what the weather's going to be like early next week too. So it's like it's not going to really get a whole lot better, but so be it. It's January, we're having a blast. But yeah, so far so good getting through the week. But yeah,
But
definitely appreciate you joining us.
if you ever need to hang out someplace tropical, come by the pool. It's always
Oh
nice and warm there.
boy,
Yeah,
we have experience with that, Sangster.
yeah. Never forget the first time that we went to a Wayne State swim meet. It's probably about 15 degrees outside. It's a solid 80, high humidity inside. It's like, yes, this is what I need right now.
Absolutely, Michael. And if you're wearing glasses, they just fog right up coming in. But
Yep,
it's a good sign when that happens.
sure.
So, Coach, this is the first time we've gotten to talk with you, and we've done a couple of coach interviews and player interviews over the last 2 years or so. And generally, we talk to athletes and coaches before the season starts. But in your case, you're quite a ways through the season right now. So, generally, at this point, my question is, let's look on the last season and find some of the some of the things that you were proud of. But for you, I'm curious, up to this point in the season, what are some of the accomplishments you've seen from your teams that you're particularly proud of?
Well, certainly on both sides, they're doing fabulous. Well, with going into the season, yeah, our season is just long. Let's just face it. I mean, we start like in late August, and we're past the halfway point now. We're getting close to our conference meet in February, but going into this particular season, some of the things I'm extremely proud of is that on our men's side, our men were victorious at our midseason invitational and swam really, really fast with some of the likes of our conference opponents like Saginaw Valley and Davenport. So that was a really, really good showing for our men's team and it was close. It came down to the last relay and they pulled it off. And on the women's side, the women also were victorious at the midseason meet, and swimmers like Ali Vasilakis and Barbara Munoz Quintero are probably qualified for nationals with how they performed at the meet. So that was fabulous. Also to mention some of our divers like Julio Osuna, Max Wasiniak, John Martin, Wen Wadsworth. I think they're all qualified as well. So, I mean, we're moving in the right direction. And certainly, I think going into our conference championships, I think we could definitely uh, make some big strides here and get some more qualifiers and perform extremely well.
Yeah, it's really great that you mentioned Julio and Wen Wadsworth because we had in our notes here that they're both really that they've just really come in and started to really take off for the team now. And so, what are some areas you feel the team has grown the most in this season compared to last?
Well, those two in particular, well, like Julio is he was a transfer student from University of Indianapolis, and I if he lost a diving competition at the national meet, I'm not sure when. I mean, he's that good. So we're thrilled to have him here because it's not only good for him because he loves Wayne State and our engineering program and the team culture that we have here. But he also is bringing a lot out of Max and John, as I mentioned, where they're raising their game because they're watching and working out with a guy like Julio. And then, of course, with Wen, I mean, she's really developed a lot of confidence in her from her last year to this year. So that is a huge improvement. She's been real steady for us and a leader for the young freshmen on the diving program. And then I also got to give a lot of credit to a lot of the new freshmen that have come in that have already made a statement on the men's side. Olin Charmstrom, Gabriel Arias Hernandez. Those guys are really swimming extremely well. And then on the women's side, someone like Delaney Parker, who Like even last week against a pretty formidable Grand Valley team, she ended up was victorious in the 100 breaststroke. And so she's been a nice addition along with some others like Emily Headley and Kate Rhodes and Emma Crispo, to name a few.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of talking about a lot of that. You mentioned some of our, swimming and diving athletes are really starting to step up a little bit, and kind of looking at your coaching history. I mean, these are teams that are consistently performing well in conference championships, getting to the NCAAs. So, kind of talking more about you, I'm curious some of the philosophies that you kind of show up with, and you try to instill in your team that, on just to say it, seem to be working very well and have been working for a very long time for you.
Well, I appreciate that, Ryan. Certainly you know, it took a while for me to find my stride. And my first few teams here, they worked really hard, but certainly it just took a while to keep moving up the ladder. And then of course what we had, a decade over ago or longer. I mean, we were one of the top programs in the country. At this point in my career, I'm more interested in developing people and trying to help out realize their potential and whatever that path may lead to, whether it's an NCAA champion or whether it's somebody just trying to drop a few tenths of a second in their race. I embrace that. That's just the philosophy I've always had, and it's something that this team really now trusts and believes that we can do as a coaching staff. I have a great staff with Gloria Martinez Perez and Jason Trout leading the diving program. But then I also have like people that come in and help out with their school duties as well, like Hannah Gorecki and Juliana Witt. They're very eager to help this program and help these athletes out. And so we have a nice culture where the coaches and the athletes has this great harmonious relationship with each other, and they work hard. They support each other, and those are my staples. Is those two pillars? Is if you have people that are willing to work hard and willing to support each other, you're going to be successful. And so that's just two things that I really latch onto, and they seem to be latching onto it as well.
Yeah, and we were just talking about Julio Osuna. I mean, or Osuna, and you see, athletes from different universities around the area that want to come to Wayne State. We know that we got a really good swimming and dive program. You mentioned the education side of things, so I mean, being able to bring those together and offer a really quality program for these athletes to really shine, I think that's a very special thing. And I will say I've had a lot of fun going to some of the events and just watching these athletes compete.
Oh, and I'm just so proud of them because they do work extremely hard. I mean, I mentioned the longevity of the season. I mean, that's a grind. And then you take in the academic piece to that, which is one that's the most important piece, in my opinion. And they kill it in the classroom. I mean, the women have there were, I think, a 3.77 as a team this past semester. And it's almost like, and I celebrate it. I love it. But, it's like, well, another semester, another 3.7 GPA for our women's team. And I'm like, no, this is really, really good. You ladies are just killing it in the classroom. And then the men, I think they got their highest GPA this year with a 3.42, which I'm so proud of them for doing. And they're really trying their best. And it's not an easy life, but it's a rewarding one.
Absolutely. And coming up, we've got two more meets. We got Oakland and Calvin both at Wayne State, and then we're coming right up to the GLIAC championships and hopefully NCAA's to follow. So I, I think I want to ask, what's it going to take for Wayne State to be victorious in any competition, really, but especially in the GLIAC championships, NCAA, some keys to victory, I think, for this Wayne State squad.
Well, that's a great question there, Michael. And certainly that's something we're always trying to do. And I guess our keys to victory is, like I even go back to when we won the national title in 2012 with the women's team is let's not just put all this pressure on us to do well, and because you really want to enjoy the moment too. You want to be go out there and be relaxed, be confident in yourself, believe in yourself, and certainly let all this hard work, all this commitment, everything that you've all shared together as warriors, just enjoy it, let it all come out and celebrate it. And so, and I can live with whatever our score is or whatever comes up on that scoreboard. But it's that whole mentality that I want them to have is like, you've worked so hard to get to this moment. Enjoy it. We are here now. We're going to be one of the fastest teams in the conference and in the country. Embrace it.
And so I think what you're getting at, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a big signifier for a successful season for these squads is just going out and uh, I was going to say running your race, but swimming your race and just leaving it all out there in the pool. Is that pretty safe to say?
That's exactly it. I mean, and when it happens and you see that magic moment come through, it's a beautiful thing, and it can come at from any swimmer or any diver at any time. And it's just that breakthrough in the human spirit where you're like, wow, I believe that this person could do it, but to watch them actually do it, you know that keeps us going, right? That's why we keep this whole program, trying to keep it at this high level, is because we want those moments. We want as many of them as we can get, and this team is capable of so many magical moments coming up at our conference meet. I believe in them so much.
What I'm really getting from you and is kind of really a fun question is, you're now in your 28th season. I can see and hear the passion from you, and you've been around for a number of years, longer than I've been around at Wayne State. I started back in 2012. But now looking around campus, looking around the athletic campus, when you started back here, could you have envisioned that this is what the campus would look like and feel like, and especially around the athletics campus?
Oh my goodness, no. Oh, no, oh, no, no, no. I mean, being here for over a quarter century, and I mean, certainly, the one thing that I always remember is like when I first started here at Wayne State, everybody from, that weren't part of the city would always tell me if Wayne State was in this location or that, you'd be national champions every year. And I just looked at him like, no, you don't get it. Wayne State, Detroit, this is where it's happening. This is where magical things are happening every day. And I just kept seeing it get stronger, better. And Wayne State has always been that crown jewel in Detroit, in my opinion. And it's just like, and it's just something to me that always spoke to me as a coach is like, and an employee of Wayne State University, is this relationship that we have with the city. It's one that we cherish and embrace, and something that I definitely, saw get stronger. And now, you even look at some events like we had, and one that we're all so very proud of with the NFL draft in April. I mean, you know, when I started in '97, there was no way I think we could have pulled something like that off. And to see our city become, like the talk of the country that weekend, and it's like, well, you're telling me something that I've seen all along, and it's something that it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, and really like looking into, like I said, some of the improvements. I mean, seeing the field house go up, seeing, Tom Adams Field get some improvements. I know I've heard about, the Mathi Natatorium getting some improvements as well. And I think it's just a fantastic thing to see. And we talk about it all the time on the podcast. Like there's a lot of events that happen on a daily, on a weekly basis around campus. You just find an event, go to it, and just enjoy it. Because, that's definitely something I wish I would have done a little bit more when I was actually, a student at Wayne State. But now as a graduate and being able to kind of just go down there, have fun, and go to a 10 a.m. swimming and dive meet, a 1 p.m. and a 3 p.m. basketball game, and just be there for, you know, a good portion of a Saturday is just an absolute lot of fun. So, and swimming dive's a huge part of that. I've really kind of come to enjoy going to some of those events.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do because you know what? I mean, all the student athletes here at Wayne State University are doing, I mean, they're doing fabulous things as well. And to go over to the, to the new arena and watch the basketball teams go, go at it. And then you can come over to Mathi, catch us in a game, maybe see what's going on with fencing at the Mort Harris or something like that, or goes to, go to the the Duchesne building and watch some indoor tennis. It's so much fun. There's so many things going on, and and just thinking back in '97, it was pretty much just Mathi and the outdoor fields, and that was it. And now and the outdoor fields were a little bit. I still even remember like the football fields where it was a grass surface, and but to help with the irrigation of the field, all the end zones corners were sloped down. So if you threw a fade route to the corner, the quarterback might not actually see the pass completed, depending on how deep the pass was, because it just went down. And it was just things like that. Now you see where it's the Adams Field is a vibrant place to be, and just a lot of different things that the leadership of this program and then of these programs and the new leadership with Erica to try to continue the growth of Wayne State athletics to even take it further. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens here. Going into the next, certainly quarter century. I'm planning on being here.
Well, it's great to hear. I have one more extremely interesting question for you. Then I'm going to see if Sangster has any questions, and then we'll see if you want to add anything in as well, Coach. But so the first time I went to a swimming and dive meet, the whistling. There's so much whistling, and I don't know like what is it? Why do some teams do it? It's loud, and I'm like, wow, this is just a thing that happens here. What's the whistling all about?
Okay, so that's a great question because like when you're swimming, like it's so funny because like I hear parents cheer from the stands, and even I catch myself yelling because I can't whistle. But that's all I got. So but the thing is, like I remind myself, no, they can't hear you. Okay, their ears are in the water. They cannot hear a darn thing you're saying, but they can hear the whistling and they can hear the yelling and things like that. And when things like that are going on, it just spurs them. It's like, okay, I'm tired. My body is hurting, but they're cheering for me. They're encouraging me. I have another gear. I know I have another gear to go to. So that's what that's all about. It's just something that some of us do a little better than others. But yeah, there's some people that can whistle, and it definitely is ear piercing.
It really is, especially in a place where the sound is just echoing in the natatorium. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I was always really just intrigued by what is that all about. So appreciate that. Thanks
Now
for
there are
anything else
times
you
where
had?
I'm like, get going, come on, you can do. And I was like, oh yeah, they can't hear me.
No, I don't have any more questions, but Coach, I'm going to open up the floor to you if there's anything that we didn't cover that you want to give a shout out to the Wayne State community on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I started off as a Tartar here, and I'm a proud warrior. And the one thing that I've always loved about our programs is, the alumni and fan base is I mean, they're so supportive, and they certainly and even this weekend I have somebody that or a couple people that just texted me like, hey Sean, I'm going to be coming out to the meet this weekend, and I hope to catch you. And I certainly love to reconnect with them. Our last home meet, one of my first swimmers on the women's team was there, and and she looked like she could still swim. It was great to catch up with everybody, and it's just like I just love the atmosphere we have. It's and certainly as a Wayne State, whether you're an employee here or a student or an alum, come catch us, because you know what? These athletes work really, really hard, and I'm just so very proud of them. So if you have time, come on out and enjoy your Saturday and maybe catch a few events.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, Coach. That was Coach Sean Peters on the Warrior House podcast.
This is where Sangster finds the stop record button.
Are we recording?
He's trying to stop. We'll